Hey everyone, good morning. Welcome. We're getting started here. My name is Colby Kleitz, and today we're going to be diving into part 2 of designing a booklet for the Gasparilla Music Festival using Adobe Indesign. So it should be some fun stuff right now. Let me go ahead and switch over to this other screen so you can kind of see what I'm working on. So yesterday I think we had a pretty good start. We really dove deep into InDesign and went over a lot of the main features in there, but I can kind of touch base on those briefly in just a minute. If you're tuned in right now, let me know if the audio sounds okay or where you're tuned in from. So to kind of recap a little bit of what we did yesterday. So since we're creating a booklet, it's like a welcome book for our music festival. So the big thing is to make sure we kind of use the brand identity. And you maybe recognize this from a case study on my profile or from an Xd video I had a little while back where we were creating the mobile website for this event. So yeah, the brand, I figured we can go ahead and touch base on that before we kind of dive back into InDesign. So you kind of see here's the word mark, logo, and symbols that I was kind of use. I have the challenge and solution right here, which you can read if you jump over to my Behance page. Then I break down the logo system that I'm working with right now. So you can see I kind of have this gritty word mark, and then it's also used as like a lockup by itself, badge. My whole goal behind this was kind of create a logo system that can be utilized and adapted in a variety of ways. So it's really influenced by how Alan Peters really does his design. And then I just kind of break down some of the symbols I use, which we come up with any cool ideas today, then maybe we can add a couple more unique symbols to this. Because I really love how I can combine multiple elements rather than just having like a music note by itself, I can combine it with a flag or do something a little bit fun. I'll also show the typography that I'm kind of basing this whole branding around and the color palette. And then we go to the mock-up. So you can see right here I do have this adventure guide. And right now we're calling it a guide to the festival because that's what we called it in past years. But this right here is just a mock-up that kind of shows the cover. But my goal is to actually go in and create the entire booklet, which is what we're doing today. So that way in this case study it can be embedded and individuals can actually flip through the book. So yeah, now I want to show some of the other mock-ups so you can get an idea of how the branding works. And if you're tuning in too, drop in and say hello. Let me know you can hear me. Hopefully you can. Here's the billboard design that I was working on, as well as the wristband, the lanyards, the poster, the social media content, so you can start to see some of the other photos that I took and incorporated in here. And the badge is black and white on a bag. Then I actually have the videos where I was live streaming building the Xd website, so you can see these parts and the embedded project here. So you can actually find all this on my Behance page. If you go to the first one, I have the case study right there. So yeah, the goal is to really just help flesh out that project by building a strong welcome booklet to accompany that. So let me switch over to this monitor really quick because I want to kind of show you some of the booklets from past years. So the past 2 years, this is 2019, this is the 2020 booklet from the festival. And you can see they use a similar orange, but each year the branding gets a little different. But there are some consistencies throughout it all. Like they call it the Guide to the Fest, which is what, I was kind of naming this one as well because it makes sense to stick with, what works. And then the layout of the actual pages kind of stay consistent throughout. So the goal was to kind of help build something that can work with that system, where it uses the same oranges and it kind of has a similar layout, but is unique to the branding that we're working on. So yeah, today we're really going to be working mostly in InDesign, as well as I may actually create some of the assets in Illustrator and then jump back into InDesign. But actually, let me switch these monitors before I forget, because I don't want to do that and then do the whole live stream and realize, oh no, you couldn't actually see my screen, because that would not be fun. So yesterday we really dove deep into InDesign, and some of the things we did was we went into master pages and we kind of went over why they're there. And just basically give a quick recap, these are the core pages that whatever you do on them will affect everything else. So on the master pages, which you can kind of see up here, we went in and kind of built the backgrounds that's going to be on here. We also showed how to make page numbers and how they can actually show up on all the pages automatically. Which, to recap really quick, you put the number down, you go down to Insert, Special Characters, and you go to Markers, and then Current Page Number. And that'll make it to where anything on the master page, like we jump over to this, then you can kind of see the page numbers are on the automatic page numbers, and they get updated as you go, which is really dope. So yeah, some of the designing we actually started to do yesterday was the cover. Started moving around that app. Okay, so yeah, we had the cover that we're kind of building the base for, which keep in mind too, right now it's more just laying the foundation, and then once we have all the pages kind of set, then it's about like tweaking it and making sure we have the consistent borders and spacing and all that jazz everywhere. So yeah, we have the cover right here, and then we kind of scroll down. We start to go to the sponsor page, which Cigar City is the key sponsor, or the presenting sponsor. Then we have the welcome page that breaks down some information. So I'll actually go in and fix some of the typography here as well. Actually, let me show you this. So you have screen mode, and then go to presentation mode. So you can kind of see, yeah, I had the cover that we looked at. We have the 2 inside pages, which there's a lot of work that needs to get done still, so it should be fun. Yeah. So we start to go beyond the festival. Right now I have some filler photos in there because I don't have like the specific photography that I would want to use yet. We need to adjust on the text as well. This will be the commemorative poster. So each year they have a local artist kind of submit a poster design, which you can kind of tell right there, but it's kind of hard to see. And so this will be like a local artist submits their poster, and then we kind of talk about the artist. So you have a spread dedicated to that. Let me go down. This one's empty for right now. We started to get the map, but it looks terrible. Yeah, so let me go back to this view so you can kind of see what these other pages are going to be. So I have the notes above them as well. So yeah, that one is about the poster. Then this one will be like the list of names of like the supporters, kind of like sponsors or donors. And then the captains, which I think are like elite sponsors in a way. And then the volunteers. So this is where it's honestly just going to be like a list of names. So I may just pull some names offline to kind of fill in the text to, yeah, have like a filler for now. So this is where, we may have to jump into Illustrator, or we actually probably will jump into Illustrator and kind of design the schedule layout. Because if you really look at it, like, let me switch over to this camera again. Here's kind of how they do it in their past years, where it's just grid like that. I also have some other festivals as well, which this one doesn't have it in here. We can look at this one. Hopefully there's a schedule in here. Which I don't have in here. So the thing is, though, a lot of times they make it to where the schedules can be torn out of the book because people don't always want to carry around the book with them. So that's the problem with these other ones, but the Gasparilla ones, they actually have them like inside the book itself. Sorry, excuse me. And if you're in your chat, drop in, say hello. Let me know you're tuned in. Let me know you can hear me. Let me go and switch back to this. I'm going to go ahead and scroll down. So you can see this is where I'll kind of get the map of the festival. And I want to have a little bit of fun with this and kind of make it a little more piratey, but not like super pirate, to where you end up like it looking like a kid's menu. But it's got to be like cool enough to where it kind of like references it, which I think there's a lot of opportunity because it's like a map. Kids Fest. So this is where they kind of break down like the features that are unique for kids in the festival. So this is where we'll get a little creative. Maybe we can add like a game or two, or like, I don't know. I'm not sure what that's going to look like yet, but I really want to embrace this because this is a festival that is like very family friendly. Then I go down to merch. So I do have some mock-ups from the case study that I didn't actually use in that project, but I can kind of incorporate them into this and kind of show what merch is available. The food and drinks, so this will more be like a list of the local vendors that are joining the event. So recycle, this is where they really talk about their initiative to really focus on recycling for the festival, as well as the stats for like the past years about like how much was recycled, and all that text too we kind of have in here, which is really dope. Okay, here we go. Scrolling down, so this page in the other books is literally just like a grid of like sponsor logos. So that's not going to be very much fun, but I think we can work on that anyways, because I think I do have a folder with all of the sponsored logos saved from when I was building the website. And the back cover, which I'm not sure what we'll do there. We may honestly just keep it kind of simple, but we shall see. So, let me think where to begin for right now. Here we go. So, since this is like a list of names and it's kind of boring, I'm going to kind of dive into the schedule, because I kind of had a base for that built already in Illustrator. So, if you get confused about what program I'm in, just keep in mind too in the top left corner you got the icon. So right now we're in InDesign, but I'm going to go and switch over to Illustrator. Because as you can see right there, I have this right here. So this is the file I showed yesterday, which is like my real rough one that has some of these different like logo assets kind of in there. This is where I was kind of experimenting with stuff, but yeah, that's one of my favorite parts right here is this 2021 with like the GMF like little cannonball. So you can see I was starting to play with the map, which doesn't look too great yet, but I kind of ran out of time with that yesterday. But I also had a base kind of built for like the schedule. So I think this could be good to kind of build it in Illustrator. At least this is my plan. Ooh, this one looks bad. I'm gonna delete that. Which, let me double check something. I wonder if this is even on an artboard. I'm gonna go Command G, group that. Okay, it is. Cool. Which I'm gonna go ahead and just delete that. Let me zoom this out. Okay, so I do have other stuff in this file. So this is an older file I was working with, but I do think it's nice because, you know, it really speeds up the process for trying to do this, for trying to design like the schedule. And the thing to keep in mind with like a schedule like this is you really want to make sure that, you know, it does what it's meant to do. A lot of times I've noticed with music festivals is that cell phone reception doesn't work, and it's because you have so many people in a concentrated area. And so a lot of times festivals will have like their schedule online or on an app, but it doesn't update or doesn't refresh. And so they end up having posters around the festival with like the actual schedule with like a bigger version of this. Or then everyone in their welcome books kind of have a version of this. And then you pray that there's no last minute changes, because then it just turns into chaos. Or that there's not a time change in the midst of the festival, because I've seen that before, where you lose or gain an hour and then it's just chaos because no one knows what's going on anymore. So yeah, I think instead of actually filling out the names of who's going to be in each of these blocks, I think just having them kind of here right now as a filler is the best bet. Because this is more just to show what it could look like, rather than mapping out the logistics of like which band is going to play when. Because that's not really something that I would have to do. So I think what I would want to do next, because you can see this is for Saturday specifically, but it's a 2-day festival. So I click the Artboard tool, hold down Alt, and kind of drag this over. It duplicates everything on that artboard, as well as the artboard itself. So if I do that, you can see it's there. If I do that, you can see that there's an artboard below it, which is dope. So that's what we want. So for this too, I'll probably end up leaving these time slots, you know, like the same. And I'll probably just kind of add some like minor edits. I'll make that the 7th. And then what I want to play with is actually just putting it inside InDesign and seeing if it works or not, and then seeing if like got to fix the colors, the layout, and all that fun stuff. So I could actually export these, but I think I might just try dropping it in my like CC libraries. So I can click plus, add content, and go to graphic, and that should just create it in here. Okay, so as you can see, it's right here. It's not grouped, and I'm gonna do the same thing with the one for Sunday as well. We go there and then add graphic, and then sweet. So they're both in there. So if I minimize this, they should show up in InDesign. So you can see I'm opening InDesign again. You can tell from that icon. And I go to CC libraries. That's what I love about like the libraries in here, because it makes switching between stuff super easy. Let me just drop it in chat, say hello to everyone. And if you're in the chat too, say hello, just let me know you're here. If not, no worries. I just want to double check to make sure that was working all right for us. Cool, so we're still good. So then I'm just going to kind of create a frame. Drop that in there. And let's go ahead and just maybe bring over one of these and just kind of place it in there. Okay, so one of the problems we run into is since I brought it in through CC libraries and didn't export it. Oh, hey Gigi, thanks for joining us. Cool stuff. Yeah, so the background of that is transparent in Illustrator. And since I brought it in using the libraries, I didn't export it with a white background. So yeah, that's the problem we're running into right there. So I think what I'm going to want to do is literally just go and export them just to kind of play it safe. Before I do that, I'm just going to delete them from my library so I don't have like duplicates or something crazy. Go to File, Export. And yeah, let's bring this into... I have like a folder for schedule, but there's other stuff in it, so I'm just going to go ahead and call it New. If I can type. Just to make it easier on myself, so I don't have to like look through different versions of this and hope I have the right one. So I'm using Artboards, and yeah, I'm going to do all the Artboards. Let's do it as a PNG, just because PNGs are better. And then background color. So if we did transparent, we'd end up with the same problem we ran into when we were importing it through a CC library. But if we just go to white, that means these ones that are partially like transparent, you know, you won't see through them. It's going to have a white background. So that's what we want. I think also, let's keep it 300 DPI or PPI or whatever, because that's what it would be printed at. And since this is technically a print piece, you know, even though I'm probably only going to be showing it digitally for now, I want to kind of treat it like a print piece in case I need to print it. So that should be exported. I'm going to minimize this. I'm back in InDesign again. I'm just going to bring this over a little bit, kind of give myself a little more room in the workspace. And yeah, I'm going to go and hold down Alt, and I'm going to duplicate that one we brought in a minute ago. Kind of drop it in the middle there. And then I'm going to go and have this frame selected, go to File, and then Place. And I'm looking for that one I just exported, which I know is under Schedule, and then I go to New. So you can see these are the older ones I had, which I'm just going to save myself a little bit of time in the future and just delete these exported versions. Because those, I know those aren't ones I'm going to use, because this is the one I want to use. Which, I wonder if this is the right one, because it's hard to tell if it's Saturday or Sunday. Cool, so that one's for Saturday, and you can see the difference right here. So when it has like transparency in it, like a no white background, then you end up with this where it's seeing through. If not, then you end up with that. And we really want ones that are like clearly visible to everyone, because there may be people with like different like vision impairments who still have to find the schedule and find when their favorite bands are playing. So I have these selected. I'm gonna hold down Shift, maybe bring it up a little bit to get it kind of off those waves. And I guess another nice thing about doing it this way in Illustrator is if I need to actually go in and edit it, I can just edit it in Illustrator and re-drop it in over top of this. Because I imagine the schedule would be one of those things that probably change up until you actually get the booklet printed. Just because, you may have artists, back out, or people who have like problems with flights, or who knows. There's probably like a million things that you run into when organizing a festival like this that I can't even begin to imagine. So yeah, just looking at this, I do think the colors kind of work. This on that is a little odd, but it can work. The brown really helps it pop. Maybe I bring that text over to the right slightly. But the problem I run into is with, which you can see it's a little pixelated. So I can go to right click and go to display performance. Okay, it's on the highest quality. That's not a good sign. But yeah, so the 12, it has an extra, character in there than the rest of these. So it kind of overlaps that a little bit. So that's just something to keep in mind. Yeah, but I think overall this will be clear enough for everyone to kind of read and tell who's playing on which day. And especially when I compare it to the ones from past years. Let me just glance at it real quick. Yeah, so the ones from past years, it's like, let me switch sources. Let me see if I can have it focus. So it's starting to focus. So you can see each stage is like a different color, and it's very clear and very simple. But I do hate that, like, over here they have artists going on the same time at different stages. Over here it does kind of overlap a little bit, but it's just something to keep in mind. That's just like what they do. So yeah, I'm just gonna go File, and I guess I already saved it. So honestly, I think that's kind of decent for now. Because that's something we can just re-drop the graphic in over top, work on an Illustrator, and just bring it in separately. What we could do is we can either go in and start with a text for this, which is more just a list of names and would go by pretty quick. And then we can also go into Illustrator and kind of design the map, which I think will be a little more fun because we can get a little creative with that and figure out how that'll work. Then, yeah, and then the Kids Fest. I think, honestly, that might fill up some time. So, just to save time with this, rather than... Oh, it looks nice. Well, thank you, Gigi. I appreciate it very much. Thank you. And let me know if you have any questions or anything, too. Oh, hey, Maria. It's good to see you. Thanks for tuning in. That's dope. Yeah, so... Which you might already be familiar with it, too. It's like the Gasparilla Music Festival is one of the projects I did for, like, our class. It was, like, a senior project. And so I'm really just trying to push that even further by designing the entire flip book that you would have. And so I can embed that into the case study. But thank you for tuning in. That's dope. Yeah. So what I was about to do... Now I'm nervous. So I was going to go and fill in the names right here. So I have like some random names I found online, which basically I just typed in random names on like Lorem Ipsum, and it's just like, let me just show you, it's just some random site that just has a list of names. And so I can just duplicate this a bunch and just kind of use it as like a placeholder for right now. Because there's really no use in filling out a bunch of real names. So let me go ahead and just kind of drop some text boxes in there. And actually, let me bring over a different text box. So I can just grab one of these and kind of use the type styles. Sorry, excuse me. Let's go edit, paste in place, and then I'll just drag that over. What's nice too is I already have these grids in here, so I can kind of base like the names and everything off of that. So yeah, let's just kind of bring those in a little bit, and let's bring this in a little bit as well. Cool. So I think that's a decent spot. Let me grab some water. And if anyone has any questions too, just let me know. If not, I'm just going to keep kind of working away. So in the booklet they use for past years, I just want to kind of glance at it and reference this a lot. And yeah, let's do some of the same stuff they do as well. So let's bring over this text. Let's go edit. Let's click that once, edit, and then paste in place. And we'll call it Higher Ground 2021. Cool. So that's what they really refer to all this right here. Let me just copy that. Let me just paste it. And I know there's totally better ways to do that, but that's just the way that works for me really fast. Because I do have some character style set up, but sometimes I just run into problems when I work with those. Like, I'll really use like paragraph styles a lot. Hey Jan, well, thanks for tuning in. It's a cool little emoji. Yeah, so I just want to extend this a little more. Let's go back in here. Let's go to properties, and I want to center align it. So let me scroll down, click this button, and I'll go type in with caps lock. I'll type in thank you to our grassroots supporters. Yeah, so it's more just like here's the main title, here's like the subtitle, and then right down here is where it would just start listing like 3 or 4 rows of names. But for our sake, I'm just going to do 3 rows of names. Let me go ahead and delete that. And yeah, if everyone's just tuned in right now and you have any questions, just don't be afraid to drop in. Let me know what's up. Let me know if you like where it's going, or if you hate it, or if what you'd do differently. Because, you know, I can be tough and get over it. So, yeah. And if not, no worries. So, honestly, I'm just copying those names from that little, like, random site I just showed you. Just so that way it feels more real when you kind of look at it. And, I'm just going to hold down Alt and Shift and kind of drag it over and copy it. And then we've kind of got like these rows of names, which I'm going to go and delete some of these. So that way they feel like a new list because it starts out with a different name top. Might be cheating, but, you know, I think it works. Yeah, so at first glance, you know, they probably look like, you know, different names. And this one has like a hyphen. So she's going to lose her last name for now. I could also, actually, I may go in and make them smaller. What size am I working with? An 8? It's already kind of small. Which I wonder what size they use. Oh, actually, I like it. Good job. Well, thank you, Gigi. No, I appreciate it. That's cool. And I do have kind of the branding breakdown on my Behance page, too. So if you're curious about, like, you know, this entire project and what I've been doing so far. My goal is to really build, like, a fleshed out project with all of this and kind of do it as a proposal to this festival and be like, look, I already have the branding built for everything next year. I have the welcome book, the website, everything you need. You know, you can give me, like, some edits, but, you know, if you hire me to do it, we already have a jump start on the next year. So that's kind of my goal before I actually really post online and start tagging them and emailing them. I really want to just have this built out, you know, as much as possible. Like, solve these problems, like layout problems and web design problems ahead of time. So yeah, we have a similar setup over here on the right side with some little differences. So we'll figure out how to do that. Let me kind of work with this at the moment. And let me just type in thank you to our captains, is what they call them. And let me know too if you see any typos. Hopefully I won't. Towards the end we can actually go in and do type and check the spelling. But for now I'll just keep designing. Here we go. So let me kind of drop some more names over here. Copy and paste that. And I'll bring it up just a little bit. And these ones are like half of the page. Hold down Alt and Shift and drag it over. Do the same thing. And it's nice, I just have these little filler names. So if I was sitting here trying to make up names, we would just spend the whole stream typing the names. Ooh, which could be kind of fun too. Let's type in Gigi. Welcome to the, you're gonna be a captain now. GGG. We're gonna just type in some of these names just for fun. Maria, thanks for tuning in. You're gonna be a captain of the festival, which is like, I think like a super donor, like you donate like a lot of money. So welcome. And then Gian. Yeah. Awesome. So welcome. You guys are gonna be in this case study for now. So that's cool. If anyone else is in chat and says hi, you're not gonna add you in real quick. If not, no worries. You know, you can just attend the festival one day. And then the rest of these, I'm just gonna kind of like erase some of these names up top, so that way they, again, like they start out with a new name up top, so they don't feel, you know, just like the other ones. Just happened right there. Did I copy it? That was weird. Cool. And then what I like to do too, a lot of times just go to view and then go to screen mode and presentation. It allows me just to view it without grids, guides, and all that fun stuff. So I think over on this left side, I should probably get rid of like another row of names just so I don't run into it overlapping the waves. And yeah, I think I'm just gonna do that. And actually right here, there's that name with a hyphen again. That just makes life a little more difficult. And I think if I was doing this real, then I would actually know my limitations of like how small the type size can be. And yeah, I'd know like what those problems and like where I can work around. But I worry about making it too small. Oh, actually it's Goddard, but people call me Gigi. Sounds good? Yeah, Marie's saying yeah. Cool. So you know what, we're gonna make it legit. Oh, which makes sense. So both your names start with G, like first and last name. Right? Yeah, so I'm guessing that's where Gigi comes from. That's cool. So let me make sure I spell it right. God, dear. And I'm just gonna make your last name Gigi. Just because it's fun. Cool. So yeah, you guys are just became captains. Welcome aboard. Let's go to File, Save. Just gotta have a habit of doing that like a billion times. And then the next section we want is like volunteers, basically. So actually, I think this is kind of like the subtitle we're kind of looking for. Drag this around here, and let's call this ... And it says, and in case you're curious, I'm referencing like one of the past notebooks. Actually, I'm gonna minimize this so I can actually see my stream. Yeah, so you can't see me. Cool. Yeah, so I'm kind of referencing this book and how they do it for now. And then we can kind of go through and add some more personality to make this one more unique. And over 600 volunteers working this weekend. Exclamation point, because I'm yelling it. Because it's exciting. And File, Save, which I really don't need to do that. From Kuwait. Oh, that's so cool. Well, thank you for tuning in. I'm glad you're here right now. Yeah, so then this turns into Board of Directors. Let's just make this a little smaller. So it kind of fits in there, hopefully. Might be 2 lines. Oop. So let me do that and hold Shift, bring it up a little more. Let me hold down Alt and then Shift and drag it over here. Kind of make sure that's center and do the same thing right there. Make sure that's roughly centered. And then this one is called Advisory Board. And we'll just put this on separate lines just for consistency. This one's Staff and Support. Cool. So that looks pretty good. And we will just bring down another one of these names. Let me get a little bit of coffee so I can look at it for a second. And, I don't know, drink coffee. So let me do that. And some of these on the actual book have like their job titles below them, but you know, I don't think it's worth doing right now. As long as we have the text here, we kind of know what the layout is going to look like, and I think that's important right now. The rest of it's just, you know, I don't know, extra. So File, Save. I don't know, I just always do that. So let's go to Screen Mode and Presentation to kind of look at this and see what stands out. So The bottom right, I just recognize immediately that those are all the same names, copy and pasted, so I'll go and delete some of those. The one on the bottom right, like down here, this starts to get really close to that wave. So I wonder if I should bring everything up a little bit, or if that one might be okay. But, oh, and there's that name again with the hyphen. Yeah, so let's do some of those edits really quick. And I wonder if I should make that a little bigger. Let's play with that. Let's make this like a 10. And do the same here. Which that means if we do that here, we should probably do it on the other page as well, just so it's a little more consistent. Oh, let's do it at 9 then, because yeah, 10 gets cut off. So that's disappointing. Make that one a 9, and let's check out this page, see if we can, wherever I got it from. Where did we get that from? Yeah, I think it was this one. So let's bring that up just a little bit, and we'll bump it up to a 9. Cool. I just want to kind of get this lined up to where we can see both pages of the spread at the same time. Perfect. File save. Just have it. So one of the things I think is going to happen too is whenever we go in and check the spelling, I think this page is going to be a nightmare because every single name is going to pop up and it's going to look like it's a typo. So that'll be fun. But I think maybe we can do that by like skipping this page and like highlighting other sections that we want to be like the main part. But yeah, just delete some of those top ones just so it's like it looks like a new list at first glance. Yeah. Honestly, I think we just knocked out that spread for now. What's really cool too is, which I wish I could show right now and I had it set up. Let me see where it is. It's under table. So you can actually work with like Excel or like what's Google's version? Google Sheets. And like you have a whole list of names there that you can update, and then you can have it to where it syncs automatically with your InDesign. So that would be something that I don't really know fully how to do. I kind of know how to do, but it's like if I had the stuff to do it, then we'd do that right now. And so professionally, when you're doing books like this, that's the way you would want to do it. So that way you can have like a marketing person or a coordinator of some sort who has their Excel spreadsheet with all these names of people, and that's like they can keep updating over time, and they don't have to deal with your file. You know, you just bring those in automatically from there, and you just update it whenever they update it. Yeah, so I think it's super important just to have like a booklet that can be updated like as you go on, because this one you will have like you're gonna have to get it printed way before the event, but like while you're working on it, stuff's gonna change. It's because you probably have to have the layout before you have all the artists confirmed and yeah, all that craziness. So I already saved it a bunch. Let's go and dive into the map because I think that'll be kind of fun to play with. So for that, I'm gonna go and minimize InDesign and I'm gonna jump into Illustrator. So that was the schedule we had. You see up here, I have that logo stuff, but right now I have the map on the same file, and I think I should just go and create a new separate file for that, just to make my life a little easier. Let's call it gmf_map. And we'll just kind of keep it there because I'll edit that artboard in a second. Let's create it. And yeah, I'm just going to go and copy all of that, and let's just kind of paste it in here. There it is. Let's bring all this up here. Roughly. Cool. So, actually, for this artboard, actually, let me wait to do that. I'm going to edit this artboard. So I can go and double click it and I can kind of edit everything about it. Let's just go and name it map. Just so that way when we export it, it'll just already have that in the file name. So it just helps us out a little bit. Width is going to be 4.25 and the height is 5.5. So I'm going to do this. So this is one page of like our InDesign booklet. Just so that way, or I should do 2 actually. Yeah, I'm going to do 2. Let me, because it's going to go between a spread. So for this, I'm just going to double the width, so that would be 8.5. And click enter, so I know, yeah, that's going to be one spread. Kind of go down to see where this thing is that I copy and pasted in here, which we're going to have to scale down. And I'm just going to go and bring this above this, you know, onto this artboard. Now let's go and scale everything down. Which I wonder if the guides will scale too. And they don't. Oh well. Honestly, I can go and delete these guides. Actually, let me outline this first so we can see it clearly. Yeah, so the reason why I had the lines guides eventually, like originally, was because I was trying to make sure that these were like perfectly straight. So I know they are now, so I can just probably delete them. So something else, it's going to be on a certain color background. So I may just want to go ahead and, actually before I do that, I'm going to go up here and I'm going to go to my layers. I'm going to create a new layer and I'm going to lock that one. So this layer I just locked has that artwork on it. This one is going to be just the background. And then I'm going to go ahead and just make a square on top of this artboard. And then go into libraries, find that color I wanted, which was this one. And then right now it's doing the stroke of it, so I'll switch that so it does the fill. And I think to kind of get the color I wanted originally, I actually brought it down to like 90% transparency. So yeah, I think that'll help us just kind of imagine it a little bit whenever we start designing it, because it'll be the same color as the booklet we're making in InDesign. So now I have this one, I'm going to lock that layer, I'm going to drag it underneath that one, and I'm going to go and unlock the artwork, which a lot of times I'll just go ahead and call this one artwork. Yeah, and so whenever I actually do go to export it, I just gotta make sure I just probably turn all of that off and I don't deal with that, or I bring it in through CC library and only bring that layer itself. So yeah, I'm gonna go file and save, because I need to make sure this lives in a folder somewhere. And what we'll do is we'll actually probably just save it as a subfolder under the Guide to the Fest folder. Just so that way it's all kind of like living here. Because I don't think I'll really use the map. Well, I might use like a poster or something, but I don't know, that just like is a system that makes sense to me. So click OK, and yeah. Let's go back to the booklet in InDesign for a second. So this is a space we're working with. Yeah, so I gotta keep in mind that there's waves that go on this bottom part, and then there's the little frame that goes around the edge. So just a mental note, I'm gonna guess the waves go around to like there, and then the border maybe goes like that thick versus like that thick. This is more just me just kind of thinking at the moment. I'm gonna click those. Yeah. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna lock my artwork layer, go back to the background layer. Ooh, actually those are on the wrong one. Let me go and just copy those, delete them, lock the artwork layer, make sure I'm on the background layer, go edit, paste in place. And I'm just gonna kind of drag this all the way across here for right now. And I'm just gonna do the same with all of it. Just because I do want to keep in mind that I need those margins. You know, I need to make sure that everything I do is, you know, far enough away from those. Oop. Let me drag that over. And I think I'm just going to adjust the transparency of it too, just so it's not as like intense. Go to properties, and that's more just for me, just eyeballing it. Let's just bring it down to around there. Yeah. And just for fun, I'm just going to go and bring it into those edges. And let's go to layers, let's lock that background layer and go back to the artwork. So now anything I select is only this. I'm going to object and I'm going to ungroup it. Just so that way I can really play with it and kind of straighten some stuff out. And if you're tuned in right now, let me know, say hello. The overall thing we're working on is this booklet in InDesign, but we're starting to make like the map for the festival. So I want to kind of create that in Illustrator and drop it back into InDesign. But yeah. If you're curious too about the branding or what we're working on, you can find the breakdown of that case study on my Behance page. It kind of looks like this. So you go under here and look for the Gasparilla one, and you kind of see the overall challenge solution, logo system, and the overall branding that we're designing for this booklet. So yeah, I'm gonna minimize that again. So I'm back in Illustrator, and we're kind of like dive into this map a little bit. And to be honest, there's probably a bunch of different ways to do this, but this is just the way, I don't know, I'm doing it right now. So I just want to make sure it's far enough away from those edges, because it's kind of like a little safety room. Which I guess actually I could just bring down guidelines to do that same thing. But, oh well, I already got that built. So you can see that's a little crooked, so I want to kind of like, maybe adjust it a little bit. Maybe like eyeball it, but maybe not. Maybe I can just bring it up right there. Kind of bring it over, and yeah, let's just do that. I think what's going to be super useful right now is referencing the map that they use from past festivals, but kind of like making it more unique. So let me actually show you this. This is the map that they used for 2019. So you can see like they have the stages, they have all the important stuff with like the handicap insurance, with like the map key up here that shows you what everything means very clearly. Then we also have the one from 2020 that happened, you know, early March. Which is, it's basically the same thing, but with a different color palette and like slightly, there's like little subtle differences, but overall it's the same. So I want to kind of do that, except add my branding and maybe add in some little fun pirate symbolism, like an X for treasure, or like, you know, dotted line, or I don't know, something fun. So file save, it's just a habit. Yeah, so I'm referencing this one. Let's go ahead and bring that shape over. Actually, so right now these 4 are the 4 different stages. So those will definitely need to be one color, which I do want to make sure I actually give myself enough room over here to talk about it. So I'm going to go ahead and bring it down a little more. Or maybe I bring it over, and like this is where I really do all that. And let me know if you guys have any advice or anything, or comments as well. If not, I'm just going to keep going. So let me think for a second. I'm going to need maybe the names of the stages. I'll make sure that these are kind of where I want them. Okay. They just look crooked. So I'll bring this over, maybe hold down Alt and drag that. Maybe bring that in more. Let's go to libraries and kind of see what other colors that we could bring into this. Actually, I want to mess with the fill. And actually, I may just have the key different things on the map, different colors right now, and then afterwards just go in and rechange the colors again. I think that's my best bet. Because if I overthink it right now, like, I don't know, it's not worth it. So these blue areas are like the, they are the like VIP sections. Which actually I think it looked better with a stroke around it. So let's just do that for now. We're gonna need some more boxes. So this right here, let's go and make that, let's make that red. Let's make that, yeah, let's do that maybe. Just so they're different, but they're still using the brand colors. Keep going, let's do it. Well, thank you, Gigi. I appreciate the support. Well, that's dope. Thank you. Let's keep going then. And let me know if you have any ideas, or if you should be like, oh yeah, this is like a pirate theme, maybe you should do this or that. Because I'm down. Yeah, we can have some fun with it. Yeah, so I'm going to bring this over a little bit. And right now I'm just working on these key shapes. If you're just tuning into, this is a very rough map of the festival. Here we go. Boom. Kind of bring in some of these shapes, just bring it around a little bit. Which actually, I don't think I want to use this like reddish orange, because that could be cool for like a X marks the spot type thing. I also don't want to use X as a background orange. The darker one. What if it was like brown? I'm gonna leave it this color for right now. Okay, so looking at the map, other areas I want to include, there's some over here. So I'm going to create a different box. Let's bring it up against this edge, and let's kind of rotate it to where it's like going parallel with it, like alongside it. Cool, cool. So, yeah, I know that there's one over here. Oh, as I was saying, I love it. Oh, thank you. I appreciate it. Let me know if you have any feedback or anything too. This is just a quick map at the moment. Actually, I can't get this little angle right. So it does help too if you just zoom in a little bit. So let me do this. Okay. Still not great, but it kind of works. It's better. Okay. Cool, cool. And then let me actually kind of bring that over. And there's another one that kind of goes this way. So maybe there's just like overlap between them. And that's what kind of fills in that weird gap. No. Actually, I'm going to go in Object and then lock that white background layer. Or it's not really a background layer. It's like that object in the background. So we can do that for right now. Because I think I'm going to end up getting rid of like the stroke around these things anyways. Which, if I do that, I should probably bring that up. And then maybe over slightly or down, or I don't know. Just kind of see what works. Kind of works. Let's do that. That doesn't really work. Let me slightly bring it over. Cause I don't know, just little things like that sometimes bother me. We can kind of see it overlap like the stroke of that shape. Maybe just about rotating it. Okay, I'm just gonna go Command Z and leave that alone for now, because if not, I'll spend too much time trying to get everything precise. But right now, I think it's good just to get the base on there, and then we can go in and refine details. Because what's nice, since this is a whole separate file, once I drop this into InDesign here, then I can just, you know, keep working on Illustrator and redrop a new version. But I think for time's sake, I should, you know, do it to where it's good enough, and then put it in there, and then update it as we go. Because I think it's more important to kind of dive into different parts of the booklet rather than focusing on one for too long right now. Yeah. Let me drink some coffee. And if you're just tuning in, you know, let me know what's up. Say hello. If you like the music too, you can find the artist down below is Seth. He wrote some really cool music for this live stream, so that's dope. You know, show him some love if you can. If not, no worries. Yeah, I'm just gonna keep bringing in these shapes, and let me just kind of, yeah, figure out this base. And this right down here. This is like where food vendors are. I feel like it was something like that. Okay. And then I need another area that goes back here. You know, so keep in mind it's the main stage. This is like the kids area. This is the secondary, like the second main stage, and this is like the side stage. Which I'll put labels on them in just a minute too. Oh, Shauna's saying duplicate your border layer, change white to transparent. Okay, hold on, let me really read this. That's really good. Duplicate your border layer, change white to transparent, bring to top and lock it, and then you don't have to worry about lining up your shapes as you lay them out along your edges. Oh, okay, hold on just a second. Thank you, Shauna. Which if any of y'all don't know, follow Shauna. She's like a legend. She's great. Duplicate your border layer, change white to transparent. I see what you're saying now. Okay, sorry, I just really wanted to like imagine it. So yes, thank you very much, Shauna. I really appreciate you, and it's really great you keep tuning in too. That's like really cool. So let me go to Object. Oh no, clicked away from that. Go to Object, Unlock All, and then I think correct me if I'm wrong too. So I'm gonna, you know, have that fill, which I guess that's same as kind of having it transparent. This, you're talking about Object, Arrange, then bring to front, and then lock it when it's in front. So that way, I don't run into the problems right here where like I was trying to line it up right on the edge, and yeah. Thank you, Shauna. That's great advice. I think I'm doing what you're saying. Because yeah, that, what? Nope, wrong tool maybe. Nice, yeah, so that's locked down now on the artwork layer. Yeah, and then afterwards I can just go and bump up, you know, bring the color back in. She's saying duplicate that one. Okay, so I duplicate that one. So I have the one that's in the very back, and then I have one that's on top then. Or I, oh, no, okay, I get it now. So I can actually probably leave this white. I can go to Object, Arrange, let's send to back. Then I go to Copy, and then I'll go Edit and Paste in place. And then I'll hide that one. And so what's happening is this stroke is on top of all those where that one's behind it. And we go to Object, and I'm going to Lock Selection. I'm also going to click the one on the bottom and go Object, Lock Selection. I think that's what you're talking about, and that is great advice. Welcome. You can keep the white on the top. All right, you can keep the white on the object in the back too. Okay, cool. Yeah, I think that's what I was just doing too, right? Like after I read that. Cool. No, that's great advice, Shauna, because now I don't run into like these weird corners. Because I know I was going to have to go back and maybe fix that or something, but that's a dope solution. Thank you very much. Cool. File save, just because that's another habit I have. And let's bring in some of these other shapes down here. And we're going to want to just bring these down a little bit. Oh, I was looking at them like, what's happening? But it's because that stroke's on top. Cool, and so there's a couple rooms that's down here, which I'll have to label these in a little bit. Oh, and she's saying, yeah, it is. There's a delay, lol. Cool. No, honestly, yeah, thank you very much, Shauna. That's some great advice right there. And honestly, that looks a lot better. It's just like a great tip, because it's something that's super small, but like, it's a great solution. And honestly, there's probably like a bunch of different ways to kind of do the same thing, which is always fun to mess around with these programs and kind of figure out what works. Kind of bring stuff in there. And then I'm trying to think if there's anything else on like this map from last year's festival that I'm like missing. In case you just see me just looking down. The gates. I gotta add where people get in, and also like the handicap, like the accessible places, stations, or I don't know what to call them, to be honest. This is gonna be one right in there. Let's go back to library so I can just kind of click on these colors. That's good. Let's change VIP to like brown, which I think all these colors will get changed eventually anyways. It's right here. And this is where, so yeah, there's like a bridge right in here, which is kind of tough to communicate. And then, but there's different like routes through here, so I'll have to draw those paths. And the way to get over this stage, like the accessible way for like everyone, you know, if you're in a wheelchair or something like that, you take this route here, you take the ramp behind the stage and you come back up. Which isn't a very good system, but they're using like architecture that was already in downtown Tampa, so they're just trying to like adapt. But at least they have it, so that's really cool. I also need a circle over here. So I can play with this as well. This big box is like a beer tent, so we don't want to lose that, because that's very important and fun. And this is like a restroom area too. So I actually may want to go in and get some pre-made icons of like for like the wheelchair for the restrooms, because it's not worth really remaking myself. Which I think I just saved it a second ago. Cool. So let me bring in some of these to help mark where the entrances are. Which one of them is right behind here? Let me go into. Whoop. Have that selected. Select it. Hold down Alt. Drag it off to the side. There's a VIP entrance back here. Maybe we make those brown, which I might have done. It's hard to tell. There it goes. Let's make this brown. Let's remove the stroke that's around it. Go in here, boom, let's do that. And then there's another gate that is like right in here. Let's just put it right there for now. Cool. And if you're tuning in late to the chat or anything, say hi, let me know what's up. Let me know if you have any more advice. Shauna's great advice kind of saved me right there. And this corner feels weird to me, just because I can easily compare it to that. Let me go Command Z, let's copy that for a second. And let's just kind of bring this angle up, just so I can kind of like, I don't know, compare those paths. Ooh, I need to go to Object, Unlock All, which I might regret doing this since it is locked. But it's just a little subtle change, which I think will help. Cool. And now let's go to Object, Lock Selection. Let's make sure we do that with the top outer stroke as well. Let's go to Object, Lock Selection. And let's just delete that square. So that's a little better corner there. Cool. So next things I would need to do is kind of go in and put some symbols. Oh, I locked it all too. Don't want to forget that. I know we have some symbols in Illustrator. I don't really use them as much though. So let me remember where they are. Okay, yeah, just a minute. I just want to remember where. Oh, I think it's window. And then, yeah, symbols. And let's see if we have any that are in here to work with. Because I don't think I have a lot of them, like, activated or whatever. But, yeah, arrows. So some of these arrows look really weird. But we can totally make it work. So let's just kind of drag one of these over here. And let's go ahead and just change it. I assume we should be able to change them. Okay. Say okay. And say like, yeah, I'm cool changing that. Let's do that. Let's scale it down like a lot. And let's just kind of bring it down here because it's going to need to fit inside this circle. Let's continue to scale it down. We'll have to double check to make sure everything's still very clearly visible. And we'll have to label this too and saying like, this is gate number 2 or number 1 or, yeah. We can do that for now. Let's copy and paste. Almost lost it though. Let's rotate it. I don't know if you guys have seen like the, oh, another thing. And here's what Shauna's saying. Another unsolicited suggestion. If you're finding in your shapes you have too much of one color and you want to give a little bit of differentiation, adjust the tone of the color. Okay, so it's almost like, if I'm hearing you correctly, it's like adjusting like the shade of it in a way, or maybe like, I just want to make sure I'm understanding correctly. So yeah, let me know exactly what you mean too though, because the thing is though, when I've been working with this brand too, that I was kind of sticking to like these colors for the most part. So, I know I do have some like freedom to kind of mess around with them too, but yeah, I'm curious exactly what you mean. Like, I'm guessing it's like, I'll have that main orange I'm using and kind of adjusting like the shade of it or something, but I don't know if I'm mixing up my terms and like the tone of it is something different. But no, I do appreciate like any suggestions you have too, though, because honestly, it's just gonna like make the project, you know, stronger in the long run. There you go. Let's go to File and Save, and let's see what other symbols we have in here as well. And if anyone else has any advice or suggestions, too, please let me know. She's saying yes, like 90%, 80% of the color, but for something like a map, you can adjust just so it's clear each booth is different. Cool, yeah, okay. I'm gonna do that then. Especially with like some of these is like a beer tent versus like food vendors versus just like a shade area. Cause yeah, I was running that problem where I'm like, okay, I want to stick these brand colors, but like, you know, like blue should maybe be like the, you know, wheelchair accessibility areas, maybe orange is stages, brown is VIP, and so then I ran out of colors pretty quickly. So that's good advice. I'm gonna do that, I think. Thank you, Shauna. I am curious what other, because honestly I don't really use like my symbols in here that much, so I'm curious what other ones I have. That might be something I need though. Here you go. You usually have like some of the wayfinding stuff. It's for maps specifically, so that's dope. And Zara saying, love it. No, I appreciate it. Thank you very much, Zara. Oh yeah, so we have the wheelchair one. That's exactly what I needed. So I wonder if I can go in and like edit all these things. So I say okay. Let's just edit that. Nope. Let's see if I can go into that individual group. Maybe not. Let's mess with this. I just want to select that background. There we go. And that's what I want. Because see, like, it's really nice to already have these things. Because then I don't have to go in and try to remake this myself. And it's going to look weird from a distance. Because, like, everyone recognizes, like, this symbol. They won't recognize, like, the slightly off version I make. Which, that blue on white, you lose a lot of contrast. So, since it is, like, important for accessibility, which I end up having a shape over here somewhere. Cool. I may end up wanting to just make that black, just to make it as clear as possible. See, it's something still hidden over here. Let me just make sure it's selected enough. Do select it again. So do that like browner color. I think that could be cool. And then let me do it up here as well. Boom. And I'll kind of bring this up here. And kind of zoom out for a little bit. So it is starting to come together a little bit. Looking a little bit like a map. There's some stuff that's not accurate. So I kind of want to bring those over slightly. Maybe they're just too big. See, I think they honestly kind of fit more like in there. And this too, it's not like a stage where people stand out front. It's like a small dome that's kind of built into the, like, into the city, like, 'cause it's downtown Tampa. So it's like there's a dome here and the bleachers are there. So it's like we don't have to worry about like people going through like or having to stand out here. Yeah, file save again, just because it's a habit. Let's see what other symbols we have. So the restroom one is actually one we need for down here. So that's dope that we have that. And I kind of just do the same thing I just did with the recycling one. Let's just zoom in a little bit. Click OK. Let's just... Nope. Let's click it a bunch of times to kind of isolate that part. And then I'm just going to click it a bunch of times and change those to that brown color. And boom. Let's just bring this down here. Which those don't really look like restrooms to me. That's what that's for, right? Yeah, it says restrooms. Huh. And then let's just put this in this color as well. I think maybe it's too big. I can just do that, go to properties, kind of like align it. Yeah, that's a better way of doing that. I'm going to copy that as well. Let's zoom out of this map and I was about to say, do we only have one restroom? But actually, no, I think there's other ones up here. Because that would not be fun. Let me just select that and the circle it's in. I go Command G to group it. I'm just going to copy it. And actually, I need to do the same with these. Let's go and Command G, group that together. Let's group that. Let's group that. Just in case like they get shifted or something. Like, I don't know, it just makes more sense to have those grouped together. Which I want that circle to be the same size, so I gotta make a little room for it. Cool. So yeah, using the symbols in Illustrator, like you just go to Window and then, hopefully, yeah, you can see that. Symbols, and you can kind of flip through all these. Like I've been able to just find all these universal like wayfinding systems, like for maps that I don't know, just save me a lot of time. Because it wouldn't be fun to actually just try to remake those, and it would just look weird. I'll add the text next for the most part. Yeah, I can probably go ahead and do that. Let's just see if there's anything else in here that would be useful. Because I think there's ones that's like a little flag or ribbon, but that one's kind of weird. Which looks cool just seeing all these different ones in here. So even like for UI design, like web stuff, it's dope. So I usually use it with an Xd, and they have a lot of plugins that kind of work the same way. Cool. So let's see. I think there might have been one further back. They're like these ones. Not really a fan of them too much. Let's just bring one in. Because I'm going to need to have something that says like, oh, gate number 2. But yeah, it's like gradient on it. It's just weird. Can I just change the color of it? How do I edit this one? So maybe just to make my life a little easier, I'm just gonna... Actually, I don't even need to lock it. I'll just remake it really fast. Yeah, I'll lock it. And if you're just tuning in too, say hello. Let me know where you're tuning in from. You can check out some of the music. I have the link below. It's from one of my good friends, you know. In case you want to support some local Tampa music, that could be pretty cool. But yeah. Hope everyone's having a good Mother's Day as well. I don't know if that's, you know, like an international holiday or if it's just like specific in America. Which I feel like it's just like an American holiday. But, you know, We all have mothers, I guess. Yeah, sorry, let me just keep designing. What's happening? Okay, I think I have something selected. Cause I thought, see, it won't let me unlock it. Layers. I'm on that one. I can select that. Oh, are these grouped together? What is happening? So I'm gonna... Oh, did I build it? Like, did those points like mix or something? That's kind of annoying. What? How did I do that? So it's like part of that shape or that symbol now. Oh, that's annoying. Maybe I can just copy this and then delete all of this, but it's gonna paste actually that top object. Oh no, it didn't. It just did that one. Okay. Hey, maybe gradient is on another layer in the appearance panel. It totally might be. Honestly, I never really used the appearance panel, so that's very interesting. Let me go Command Z and kind of like look at it. Oh, this is maybe that's the symbol right there or something? I don't know, I'm just gonna go back a little bit. I don't know, I figured out how to get it to work though. I appreciate the advice though, thank you. Let's take the stroke off, let's just kind of bring this up, bring that over, let's kind of hide some of these things. I think we're good symbol wise. If not, we kind of know where to find it. Let's maybe make it like that color, and yeah, let's just type on it right now. This one is gate 2. Then let's go into here, let's type in Trade Gothic, and let's look for Trade Gothic LT Pro. So we want like these ones. I think maybe making it white would help it stand out a lot. And maybe just bringing it smaller. Kind of like play with it a little bit. I could probably like skew it or something, but I don't really want to deal with that at the moment. I kind of want to just get this placed and go back into InDesign, because I think that's where I really wanted to be working today. Yeah, that's starting to work a little bit. And then up here is going to be the VIP gate. That's for the gate who, you know, people pay a little extra and they feel like they're better than everyone else, you know, the VIPs. No, I'm just kidding. I don't even know what I'm saying anymore. Sorry. Getting a little off topic. Let me just type in VIP. Nope. All caps. The very important people or persons. I'm just going to group those, because I don't think I did that with these. Group. Let's go to group as well. It'd be nice to kind of fit in there a little better, but I think this works. I think that works for the most part. Maybe I have it down here to where they're kind of like on the same level. It's almost too far away. And just some of the stuff now, I'm just kind of just eyeballing it. I think that'll work. Maybe bring this over a little bit. I'll just call that VIP gate. Yeah, let's do it here. Yeah, so I'm gonna go and save it for right now. And then, yeah, it's starting to come together. I'm gonna take Shauna's advice too and kind of mess with some of these colors. But actually, I'm gonna merge these. So both the shapes selected, go to Pathfinder, and just make that into one mega shape. Yeah, so those 3 places, which I still am not convinced if I need strokes around these or not. I think it does kind of help. I can kind of see what it looks like without it. Let me just select everything and just glance at it really fast, because there's not really that many shapes in here, so I can kind of like just do it and see if I like it or not. Black. Let's go click away from it. Let's click away. And let me know what you guys think too. I think it looks better with the stroke around it. So here's it without the stroke. Here's it with the stroke. Yeah, I like it better with it. I do want to have them all be consistent. You see when I scaled them down, those ones got smaller. So maybe I select all of these again and I bump them up to just like 1. Let's just go do that. Okay. Let's see if that works. I think it's pretty good. I kind of want to bring this actually up beside that. So it's kind of like a flag or a pirate flag or something, you know. I think it just helps with that symbolism a little more. I also need to build a little bridge right there. So I can just maybe just build it actually. Which am I selecting that background shape? Oh yeah, because I unlocked them. So object lock selection. We go in here. There's like a bridge that goes from there to there, and I know that since we're using a 1 for everything else, I should probably just do that there, and then hold down Alt and Shift and bring this down right here. Cool. Let me shift it over slightly. Maybe I shouldn't have done that. Let me go to View. I'll go to Show Rulers. I just want to make sure that's right, which it wasn't. Select that, slightly bring it over. I'm just going to delete that whole line. And I'll kind of make it look like a ladder for the most part. Is the stroke black or gray? Taking it to gray would help it feel less harsh and more cohesive. That's a good idea. Because right now I think it's black. Some of them I started to do like this browner, but I think I kind of forgot about that, to be honest. I wonder if I can just highlight or do that to all of them really fast and see if it affects anything crazy. Actually, I worry it's going to add the strokes around the symbols. Yeah, I'm going to mess with that color too, because I can definitely see, because I try to avoid, I even said that earlier too, trying to avoid using like a super like black usually, because a lot of times it does feel very harsh. Which I might be missing something, but I can click it again in a minute. Go here. Let's actually make sure we have the stroke selected. Go to brown instead. Actually, it's still kind of dark. Let's take your advice and let's try it as like a gray. Nice, I already think that feels a lot better. Which I just kind of noticed this section feels a little odd. Nice, and then yeah, I'll do that to also the stuff that's locked down as well. And okay, so what I should do is go in here, go to stroke color and add that to my library, and then I can go over here and kind of select this, hopefully. Which, oh, it's down there. That's what's happening. I'm like, this doesn't look different. Cool. I think that definitely helps a lot. I'm gonna go File, Save again. Oh, I still have it around these symbols though, which I'm gonna test one out because I'm curious if it's gonna like affect this or if it's just gonna do it with that. Cool. Which maybe I do want to make these, you know, that lighter color. Ooh. So I want to make sure I'm adjusting the fill. Do here, bring it out. Yeah, I think that already looks a lot better. Thank you, Shauna. You're giving great advice as well. And Gigi saying love it. Nice. I appreciate it. Let's go and mess with some of these other symbols. I think that one's okay. I don't even think that one has a stroke around it. That one. What are those to have? Okay, there's this one over here. Which I have the wrong one selected. You just see me just bouncing around. And a lot of times too, like I end up just zooming in and out a bunch of times when I'm working, which is kind of like a good way to work, but like when you're streaming, like I don't know if it's always best to just zoom in crazy close. But oh well. Good enough times to read that. Lets me edit it and then select it again. Make sure I actually have the fill selected. Make it lighter, which might have been lighter. Cool. Yeah, I kind of like how this is coming together. Because in the beginning, you just see it's like, I started with like a basic shape, and then you just kind of add more points, and then, I don't know, just grow from there. I also am going to mess with these colors as well, take Shauna's advice. So we figure out a good way to break it up. So these are all food. And, now let me think of the best way to do it. I don't think it would be like messing the opacity of it to like lighten it up. I think it'd be actually going in and like doing it, because I don't think the best way would just literally be going in here and selecting this. Let me think for a second how I would do this. Color swatches? No. Because I don't think I've really done this before. Maybe color guide, color themes. I bet it's one of these options. I can maybe just adjust it slightly. Cool. Okay, so this may actually be what we want. Oh, you can see Illustrator starting to do some fun stuff. So what if I select this? Is that already that? Like, the version it's showing, does it populate automatically? Maybe not. Let's set base color to current color. I select this down. Oh, okay, cool, cool. So we're kind of figuring this out together. And maybe we just go to one of these monochromatics. Or no, shades. Let's do that. And I think that's what we currently have. So we can make it darker or super dark. Let's go and, yeah, just kind of do that. Let's make that. Yeah, sorry, I just got an email over there on the side. I had to do a fill color. And, yeah, no, I think that's great advice, Sean. I think it really helps break it up. So that's food. What other food do we have on this, map from last year? This is a beer garden. Maybe that's close enough. Let's go ahead and make that this. Let's do it to this one. It's also a beer tint. That one's going to be a darker one. Where else do we have? This one is also a beer tint. This one is actually a bike valet. So yeah, like you can, if you ride your bike to the festival, I think you get discount, and you also can like check in your bike at the gate, which I thought was a really cool thing. But it doesn't really fit with that same category. And I think this one would be darker as well. So cool, zooming out, you can already see this starting to come together. Yeah, oh, I gotta finish this little bridge in the middle. You can see just my ADD just bouncing around to different parts of it. And then, how do I do that one thing where it repeats? I always forget that. Let's see if we can figure it out really fast. I think it's make pattern. Nah. Oh well, I'm just gonna do it physically. Because it's stuff that I usually I'll just Google really fast and remember how to do it, but it's, I don't want Google I don't want to just Google stuff, because what if there's random ads, or I don't know, who knows what problems I can get on the internet. Ooh, I'm moving that background layer. Make sure that's locked in. I think I unlocked it to change the color of the stroke. So if you're looking at this and you're like, why is there a ladder in the middle of the festival? Well, it's because just the way downtown Tampa is kind of built, this is very steep stairs. Between these two, it's two different platforms. So the main stage over on this right side is, oh, I hate how inconsistent these are. But I'm just gonna go back later and fix them. I'm gonna group that really fast just to have something. Yeah, so there's really steep stairs right here. So this is the grass area, the ground floor with the main stage, and then you kind of go upstairs, and there's a raised platform with everything else going on. Let's bring that down. Oop, that's not grouped all the way I want it to be. Let me now select it and go Command G and just bring everything down just a little bit. Now I want to actually make the pass through here. Which I know I spent a long time working on this map, but honestly it's kind of fun. Actually, is there anything else I need to change the shade of? That's a market. This is also kind of related. Maybe make those lighter or darker. Actually, this is another beer tint. And this is like a shader, there's like a sponsor thing. Maybe this one I turn back to that color. Cool. Go to File and just save it again. Zoom it out for a minute. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and copy and paste it. Let's drop it into InDesign really fast and just kind of see what it looks like. Normally I'm going to do this a different way, but this is more of just like, let's make sure we're on the right track before we go too deep with it. Okay, so I locked everything, but yeah, let me just unlock it really fast then. You can see like I have this weird padding around it, but it's just because I was trying to do a mental note for myself, like what area I should work in. So unlocked all, I go to copy. Let's just minimize it down. I'll paste it just directly into InDesign. And kind of just drop it in here a little bit, just kind of see where we're working with. Let's bring it up to highest quality for display performance. Let's go into some of these details. Okay. Yeah. So this over here is going to be like where it breaks down what's what. I think it's looking pretty good so far. I'm going to save that just so I have that in that file in case I just need a backup for some reason. Go back open to Illustrator. So you can tell I like to actually create everything in Illustrator and then just bring them individually into InDesign. Just so that way all these can be like individual files, and I don't know, that's just the way I prefer to work. And so there's like a path between here and here. I'm gonna go mess with properties, just bring up the stroke. Ooh, that's when you can really tell how some of these are off. Let me change this to a different color just so I can really clearly see it. Because that's something I'm going to want to definitely fix. Just do something crazy. Okay, let me lock those layers again. Let me bring this up so... okay. Let me click that point. Is I can delete it? Nope. Okay. Just bring it down here. That's got a weird fill color. Let me adjust these. Kind of bring this in a little bit. Zoom out for a minute. So this is kind of showing like the path, and so I gotta change the colors a bit too. But hi there, just joined. Well, thank you for joining, Angelo. Let me know if you have any questions. Right now, just to give you a rundown, this is like a map for a like a music festival over in Tampa. I'm gonna click save. But this is an Illustrator, but the main thing we're really doing is working in InDesign and creating like this booklet, which you can see all the pages over here for the most part. And so this is like the guidebook for the music festival, the guide to the fest. And so you can find the branding and everything on my Behance page, where I kind of break down and I show some mock-ups. But my goal is to really go in and like have the welcome book fully finished, so it's like embedded in that case study, so you can actually flip through it. Same thing with the website, and I don't know, that's why I've just been really focusing on this project, because I really want to go and build out the entire thing. But yeah, so the map would go on this page once we kind of finish it. Then we'll have a kids fest, so we have to work on like a kids page. Merch, so I have a lot of mock-ups already made. That'd be, you know, vendors. We have a recycling page, which I think can be pretty fun. Yeah, the stats for like last year, and this is more just a grid with all the sponsors, and then the back cover. So overall, we got like a lot done between yesterday and today, and we're still making some good progress. But I could jump ahead on the other pages, but honestly I'm kind of enjoying making the map because I like the way it's coming together. So that's what we're really diving into right now. Gigi saying good job. Well, thank you very much. I appreciate it. And yeah, let me know if you have any questions or anything. Oh, thanks. Thumbs up for Colby. I appreciate it. Yeah, no, if you do give the video a thumbs up too, that does like help, I think. But at least like it, you know, it makes it look like people watch the stream, which is dope. And let me just kind of play the stuff. And so right now, honestly, I'm just trying to design the way I normally design, with the while also talking out loud. Because I guess normally when I do this, I'm not talking through what I do. I'm more just kind of doing it. And it may be like a lot more rough usually because I'm like experimenting as I go. Which I'm kind of doing now too, and it's kind of fun to try to do that live and actually seeing stuff come together. Because when I started this map, I'm not 100% sure it's going to actually work, but you know, it's cool when it does. I'm sorry, I'm just kind of zooming out a little bit so I can kind of see the edge. I'll click direct selection, kind of bring this all the way over. This kind of goes like here, really. Which means I think I need to bring all of this over. Because I think maybe that entrance is actually more right here. Because the next thing is there's kind of a path that goes from this to this entrance. So I need to kind of make that work. I think really this one's further back too. And then maybe that's more like up, you know. Maybe that's a little over. And yeah. File and then save. Let me do another one that goes from like here. Hold down shift to go from here to here. Let me have that selected. You know, click I on that one so I kind of take those same properties from that. Let me figure out the best way to do this still. Because I really want it to go like right there. And then object arrange, bring to front. Let me kind of bring that over. And if I can hopefully do the same thing without it being weird. Click that. See, I scaled it up. Let me just do that. Is that still scaling it? That feels bigger. That's an 8. This is an 8.865. So let me bring that back down to an 8. Go click that. Object arrange and bring to front. I'll kind of place it more like right there. Cool. And if anyone has any questions, yeah, just let me know. I'm still just kind of working on this. Or if you guys have ever done anything similar or have any advice, you know, please let me know. Shauna's giving me some great advice. It's really gone a long ways. Oh, and Angela's asking, is this a personal project for yours or is it for a client? So this is a personal project of mine, like a passion project, because I would really love to be able to design for music festivals like this. And so the way I kind of imagine doing that is by having pieces like those in my portfolio. And so it's kind of hard to get those type of clients if you don't have that type of work, you know? So my goals, since this is actually like, you know, a music festival in my hometown, I actually, you know people who know the people who run it. So it's like, I'm hoping if I really have a strong project kind of targeted towards that, I use the mutual connections, reach out to them, post on social media, and like really keep showing them how fleshed out this project is and like the unique elements of it. I'm hoping that they would actually hire me for the next year, which is not really the best way to go about doing it, but I'm already doing this as a passion project anyways, so if they hired me, that would just be, you know, the cherry on top. But yeah, I'm drinking some more coffee. Look at this for a minute. So I know I need to change the color of the blue path, and maybe I can change it to the same blue that I'm using for the accessibility signs. Oh, and I need text as well. So yeah, good question. Thank you, Angela. Let me hold down Alt and just kind of drag this one over. I think this one, then I'll click V, kind of like to where I can rotate it slightly. And I think really what I need to do is go parallel with that. I want to go like right there, roughly. Oh, something else, that locked layer isn't the top one anymore. So I'll have to fix that eventually. I kind of want to bring maybe all of this right here. Okay, so it's like on the corner. Maybe I rotate this slightly so it's parallel with that. So I do think that's kind of how it works in the real world, like for the actual festival. Now I do want this to be on top of that as well, so you can see that full, you know, border. Let's bring it in right there. So file save. I just do that a billion times, even though I know I don't need to. Oh, I need another path right there. So I have that one selected, hold down Alt, bring that over here, press A, bring that down to where it kind of intersects with that path. And then I want to click that, object arrange, and then bring that to front. Which I should have done. I have that selected, object arrange, and bring to front. So it didn't work. And why didn't it work? That is the real question. So first I want to shift that to where it's not like going over that bridge. Maybe let's bring the whole bridge over. Oh, it's because I have the wrong one selection. So I'm using A for direct selection, but I want B for select, for like the main selection thing. So I'll bring that over slightly. And, ooh, okay, so I see what happened. I brought the circle in front of that. So I'm just going to go Command Z a bunch of times and just kind of get me back to where I was. Cool. And so let's go to Edit and then Redo. So I know this is like right before we ran into the problem. This selected, Object Arrange, Bring to Front. And so now that works because I have the right, like the selection tool selected instead of the direct selection. Now go back to the A towards the direct selection. Bring that down to that. Which I think maybe I accidentally brought all of it because I didn't double click it. To where it's like hides behind there. And then click V again to where I can select this whole ladder bridge looking thing, which is actually like a big flight of stairs. Bring that over slightly so it looks a little better. And then let me actually go in and just mess with the color of this for a moment. So I have all those, make sure that's selected. Let's use the actual blue that we're using. So I'll go back to my library, select that one. I think that fits pretty well. Yeah, kind of like where it's going so far. Let me know if you guys have any advice or anything. We're kind of burning through this, which is dope. Let me get ready. Something I just noticed though, I do think that these wheelchair signs blend in now since I'm using the same color. What I can do is, since all these other circles are using the brown and the white, I think maybe I should do that for these. Where the circle itself is brown and then the individual in the wheelchair is white. So I'm going to experiment with that for a moment and see if that works. Because I think that feels more cohesive with the rest of them. And it just kind of makes sense. Click that, edit that symbol, and then make sure I actually have it selected. I'm on the right thing. Cool, click away, let's zoom out. And I think that's honestly the right move to make. Because now it's like more cohesive with the rest of the symbols we're using. Except this one might be the wrong color. Oh, that's right. This one just has the stroke around it, which I can probably get rid of. I'm curious if I'm using that on the arrows as well. So no, I'm not using that there. And I think it's good just to keep it cohesive in general. But actually, let me just copy and paste that. Rather than having to just edit that one again, I'll just go boom and boom. And then I had it resting like right here on like this corner. And then, so I think the actual map was curved right here. But I'm just going to mess with this. Well, let me go to Object Unlock. And I'm going to mess with this corner too and just raise it up. Just because I kind of want it to fit a little better like right there. And then I'm going to click V again, make sure I have those actual things selected, Object, Lock, Selection. And let's look at this map again for a moment and see kind of how we're doing. Go to File, Save while we look at it. Let me know if you guys see anything. Yeah, now it's looking better. No, thank you. Yeah, I appreciate it, GG. I definitely think it is too. And a lot of it too, it's going to look terrible until it, starts to look decent. And then you just kind of keep messing with it until, it starts to come together at least a little bit. Which this ladder bothers me. Because, it's not perfect. But I just gotta make all those to where it like repeats from A to B. Just double checking my other map I have again. Cool. I kind of like where we're going with this. Let's go to Object Unlock All. Let's make sure we have all this selected. I'll go Command G and group it. I'm going to copy and let's paste it. So let's open up InDesign again. And let's just paste it kind of like in here over top. And let's just make sure this is still working. And I think it's working pretty well. Because what I'm imagining is it would be between both spreads. And I kind of have it over here. And then I have the key over here, like the breakdown of what's what. Make sure it's on the highest quality. Let's hope that's not pixelated. So let me actually go, and then in InDesign I can go display or screen mode and then presentation, and we can kind of glance at it, which that does look terrible right there. So maybe it's about me actually like exporting it from Illustrator rather than copy and pasting it. But this will work for right now. Let me minimize this as well, and we can start to think about like what that key or like the stuff on the side will kind of look like. So let's bring over that symbol because I know I'm going to use that. Let's bring over that one. That's an important one. Let's bring over, this one as well. When I got to put the names of the stages. So what I can do is go over to the schedule that I had, and I already wrote the names of the stages right here. Because honestly, I just remembered this. Let's go to Object Ungroup. Just make it a little easier on us, and let's just copy all of this text up here that has the stage names. Just so one, I don't have to refine those typefaces or like start from scratch, and two, like they're already typed out because they're like specific names that they already called them in Tampa. So I don't want to have to like spell Tibbet's Corner or something weird. Object Ungroup. Let's just actually I think those are all like part of the same little text box. So let's highlight, delete. Let me just make sure we have all that. And I'll just keep doing that. I want to go right in front of there so we get rid of like any space. Let's do that. And I think just to make my life a little easier, I'm just going to expand it just so it's not like live text anymore. And also, we're getting down to the last, 25 minutes of the stream, too. So let me know if you guys have any questions or if there's anything you'd like to see in the meantime. Because I can continue this project next weekend, or I think usually I've been trying to do, a new project each weekend. And I kind of finish it, on my own time. So I really just want to show kind of, what my thought process is while I do these. And, really, it's just, a great opportunity to really work on these projects that, I want to work on. Rather than, the stuff I'm, have to do for work. And what I've been thinking too is you might see last week I did kind of dimensions, I started messing with Illustrator. Usually I did Xd in the past. My goal is to really jump around between a lot of these different software and kind of just make the different videos and kind of show that I kind of know how to work in these right now. So that way it's I don't get I'm not just known as oh, you're the Xd person. That way I can be oh, you're the, designer. Yeah. I don't know, that's just what I've been thinking lately. Especially a lot of these other programs, I know them, I already use them anyways, so it's not anything scary. Honestly, I was thinking about trying to use Character Animator for one of the next streams and just having fun. Because I used that before for a Dungeons and Dragons campaign, which I'm kind of going deep into this now. Because you can create the puppet, you can create a character using Adobe Illustrator, and then you bring on all the individual pieces into Character Animator, and it syncs up with your webcam, so that way as you're talking it animates that character, and it's pretty fun. So there's a lot of really cool opportunities to just play with it. What I'm gonna do is just kind of I have this selected for a second. Let me hold down Alt, can bring it and just kind of look at it. So it is a little crooked. There we go. I just like to use a lot of the same shapes that are inside of it. Oh, see, this is where I messed up. See up here, that's the name of the stage, is the Water Street Tampa stage. But I took the ones in white. Dang it. Because Curtis Dixon Park is this whole general area, kind of. And I think Tibbet's Corner is up here or something. And so that makes a lot more sense. So let me kind of do this right. So instead of actually going in and doing all this, I should just go to Edit. Expand, go to Edit, Object, Ungroup. And I'm just going to get rid of that whole bottom. Let me go to Ungroup. Let me see if I can just select the whole bottom row. Cool. Let me then Command G that, group that, and just kind of group all those. So you can see they're all named after main sponsors for the actual festival as well. So you may be oh, that's a weird name to call it the Ashley Home Store stage. But Ashley Home Store has money. so they can, I guess, buy the rights for that name. I'm just gonna scale them up just a little bit bigger, and I'm kind of doing it together just so they're all like the same size. So the main stage is this name, and then let me just get in here, make sure we're kind of doing it right. And I'm really just kind of comparing it to that box and kind of making sure it's where I want it to be. Cool. So I'm gonna bring that down in here. Cool, and I think that's pretty legible. And it's nice just seeing everything come together. It's always fun. And so this one is actually a home store stage, which I don't know if all this is going to fit. It's definitely not. So what I can do is, let's bring it off to the side for a minute. And see, it's right now where I wish I didn't expand it. Let's go to Ungroup. Let's group the individual words together because that's a nightmare to try to do by hand. Let's go ahead and do... Well, actually, that's right where like the leading is for the other ones. Let's kind of just do it right there. Okay, actually, let's take a step back. Let's go Command Z a bunch of times. Cool, and that's where I want to be, where I didn't actually rotate it yet. Let me go in here, go to Object, Ungroup. Cool. So group that one. I'm gonna group the word stage and group the word home store. Let me bring it right around here so I can see it's the same leading. Select all those, go to properties, and use the alignment tool rather than trying to do that myself because I'll never be able to get it right, even though I think it might be. And then let me just bring all this over here and then try to rotate it. Ooh, and I don't think it's gonna fit inside there this way either. And maybe the main stage just has bigger text than everywhere else. Could be something to think about. And the leading is really huge, like the space between these lines, so maybe I just, undo that. Or I mean, like, yeah, maybe do it like slightly less. Which I know there's a totally better way to do that. Which I wonder if I can use the alignment tool at an angle like that. Nope. I think this works for now. Let me go ahead and just group them together though. Oh, I gotta bring this over. Sometimes when you look at stuff too long, you don't notice like, the very obvious details. Cool. I'm just gonna save it again because it's just a habit. So replay guitar exchange stage. That is this one down here. The Furman Amphitheater is this thing, and the... Where is this? The Riverwalk Overlook. I don't even see that on the other map. It's weird. I think that's actually like, oh, that's like a thing that only happens Saturday nights, where it was like a silent DJ or something. So I think it's because they replaced something else. Oh, and Angela's saying, I like your color palette. Thank you. No, that's very kind. I was trying to do something that worked with like the past years of like Gasparilla's branding. And since it's like a pirate themed festival, I wanted to do something that like still kind of looks piratey, but doesn't look like cliche, and it's like still family friendly and doesn't like end up looking like a kid's menu at a seafood restaurant or something. That was the biggest thing I was trying to avoid. So cool, I got that. That looks decent for now. Let me mess with this one. This one's gonna be tricky because I'm messing with like a triangle. Man, I'm trying to figure out how I would solve this problem because if I start stacking the words like right aligned, I think it's gonna be weird. Because even by the time like the first word replay fits in there, it's gonna be like down there, and maybe I just scale this one down, but I hate doing that. Maybe I don't scale it down, maybe I rotate it this way. Because this is like a physical map, so they're going to be like holding it. So they can like physically rotate it. But I'm making sure I hold down shift so it kind of stays like, proportional. That could work. I think that's how they do it down here too. Which means these ones I could probably actually just scale it down a little bit. which I wonder if I can just do... Actually, no, it's not going to work because it's rotated. Let me scale down a little bit as well. And I might regret doing that, but oh well. I think overall it's definitely starting to come together, especially with the typography mixed in there a little bit. Let's go to File, Save. Let's write in the word VIP. So we kind of have that one there. Let me just bring in some new text. Because I expanded the other ones. Let's go there, click this. And so really these sections are called Synovis VIP, which I imagine that's like a sponsor, you know, who's like, oh, I'm going to be the sponsor for the VIP areas. But I don't care enough to add them in here right now. Let's just, yeah, let's add those. So that's for the very important people who pay a little extra so they can, you know, have these cool spots that are right beside the stage. Which actually, on the when I was working on the website for this, we started like break down how the pricing works, like the actual pricing, and for the VIP tickets, it's actually like not very much more. So that was actually pretty cool. Cause sometimes like for festivals, VIP tickets can be like insane. Oh, I should have. Well, actually, I can just make the new text easily because that was automatically where I wanted it to be. Next one is market. And then let's change this one to like a light or a thin typeface or something, maybe, or maybe just a regular. We'll go back to the libraries. We'll make it white. Which is kind of funny. We've been working like a ton in Illustrator today, and I was more expecting to be in InDesign, but you know that's okay. As long as you guys don't mind, I don't mind. Because in real life, you know, I really do just use all these programs and I really just try to use them for like what they're made for. Rather than like, okay, I'm in InDesign, rather than trying to stay in InDesign all day, you know. Let's bounce around and use programs for, you know, how we should do them. Let me actually double check here, make sure the stream's still good. Yeah, quality looks good. Let me double check something over here on this left side for just a moment. Make sure we're still good over here. And it looks like we're still pretty good. Like stream quality wise, it's always good to double check that stuff. Because I would hate to just look up and be like, oh no, I've actually been offline for hours. Even though I'm only doing it for like 2 hours. Let's just call this shade. Which I may be able to make this text smaller too, because I don't think that these are as important as the stage names. So I'm gonna scale on this one before I duplicate it. Well, this one's a beer garden anyways. See, beer garden always sounds pretty cool. I want to grow beer. Let's do shade. Let's maybe toss that in the middle for right now. Let's do, this is more beer. It's very important. Let's do this one right here. This one is a bike valet. Which is a little big. Maybe we can just scale on both of these. Let me make it center aligned as well. Is this a 2-floor structure? That's what Ken's asking. So, yes, kind of. This is all, this area, like, on this right side. Like, this whole area right in here. Actually, I was trying to show you, but I probably made it worse. I don't even know. There we go. This whole, like, side of the map in this general area, that is, yeah, it's all grass field. And then you have to go upstairs right here that leads you to like a raised up platform. And this all, like, this whole side overlooks, like, the Bay of Tampa. Or Tampa Bay. And then, yeah, over here is, like, where the other stages are. So this is, like, a really steep stairwell. And then they have the handicap entrance, or the accessible entrance, or whatever, that goes around here. And then, yeah. So it is kind of 2 floors, but it's not like they're stacked, like, directly on top of each other. And Gigi's asking, what time you have a live stream? Do you have a specific day or time? No, thank you for asking too, which I should probably talk about that. Because we are actually getting down to the last 10 minutes. So, I'm in Florida, so I base it off Florida time, which is like 12 to 2 p.m., which is like Eastern Standard Time. And so right now, you can see, for me, it's about to turn 2 p.m. So I do it on every Saturday and Sunday right at this time. And actually, if you go to my Behance page, I think in my banner right there, I actually kind of have the times listed. But yeah, right now I'm doing Saturdays and Sundays from 12 to 2 p.m., like my time. And yeah, I think eventually that might change to like the weekdays or something. But as of right now, probably for the next month or so, it'll probably stay consistent. So yeah, no, if you're definitely like around or free, you know, tune in. If not, you can also find the videos like on my Behance page, or you can be like, afterwards you can be like, yo, yeah, I checked it out, that's dope. Oh, and Gigi's saying, thanks. Yeah, no problem. Thank you for tuning in too. Ken's asking, oh, wow, that sounds fantastic. That ladder serves a purpose in that plan then. Yeah, okay, so that which makes sense why you're asking. Because it does kind of look like a ladder. And when I look at how they did that for the past year's festivals, like in their maps, they kind of use this ladder shape because it's like a very steep stairwell. So I am glad that when you looked at that, that's what you kind of thought immediately, that maybe it was a second like floor or platform or something. So I'm glad that that at least kind of worked. So that's dope. Now I need to write food. Go. I'm just kind of dropping those in there right now, which I may just replace them with one word of food, but who knows. I'm gonna bring the beer up here because that's always important. We gotta make sure we have a bunch of those stations. Let me zoom in a little bit and bring it down. And this one, what is this one again? That's, I think, more beer actually. Which it feels weird having that one going that way and this one that way. But the way that one's curved, I think it'd be awkward to have it facing the other way. But we are getting down to like the last 5, 6, 7 minutes. So let me know if you guys have any other questions or something too. And I appreciate you asking that, GG, too. Because I am going to be on here every single weekend at the same time. So I'm doing it 2 hours every Saturday and 2 hours every Sunday. And my goal is to really find like one project and kind of work on that for those overall those 4 hours. And so today is like the booklet, which honestly we've been really focusing on like the map part of it. Just some kind of fun piecing this together. But actually, let me try to finish up this map really quickly in like the next hopefully 2 minutes, and then we can go look at the InDesign booklet and see what more we have to do there. Because if you guys are interested, I may end up, you know, continuing it next weekend, but I'll probably try to work on a newer project. And if you guys have anything you want to see too, I'm trying to dive around different programs. So I may actually use like Adobe Fresco sometime soon. And a kid's asking, were you an Adobe Creative Resident? No, I was not. I applied this past year, but I did not get it. I know that they're also doing, they have a newer thing going on. Let me think of what it's called. Let's see if I can bring it up actually really fast. Because I am applying to it. It's like the Adobe Creative Residency Fund, I believe. Oh, and just asking, how do you choose your colors? Let me show you in just a second. I'm just trying to figure out where this one thing was. Oh, here it is. Okay, so a cool thing Adobe announced actually pretty recently. I want to make sure actually minimize this so you guys can see it. Was the Adobe Creative Residency Community Fund. So I'm not 100% sure about it. No, I see Ken just dropped it in too. Sorry, the chat's delayed by like 30 seconds or so. So instead of I think having as many creative residents for this year, I think they're maybe doing less, and that they're using a lot of the money, like $1 million, to be able to pay individuals to kind of do their own projects. And no, I really don't mind you guys asking questions or interrupting. Like, I really don't think it's interrupting. Like, I'm down to really go over this stuff. Like, honestly, I can work on these projects all day, any day. Like, really talk about this stuff. So yeah, they're able to do actually, you can do a whole project proposal, we're gonna do funded projects or a project commission. And when I was putting together my original proposal for the Adobe Creative Residency for this year, my whole idea was to kind of build UI kits for Adobe Xd. So if I minimize here, like usually my head isn't on this side, it's usually on this side, so that's why I had the recycling bin and stuff over here. So I wonder if you saw that, or if you saw my mood boards on Behance. But I can kind of click on this for a second. Maybe I have an exported version. So I can kind of show you my, actually I don't want to open this up because stuff won't be like unlinked yet. But basically my overall project proposal is I want to build UI kits for Adobe Xd that kind of teach principles of accessibility and like web design. So that's my overall idea. So I'm going to kind of go and refine that whole project proposal that I submitted for the Adobe Residency this year and kind of target it more towards the community fund. Because I think it makes more sense to do that maybe as like a 3-month or like a 6-week or like a limited project rather than like a whole year's focus. So I would love to do the Adobe Creative Residency though, and I'd recommend any of y'all viewing to go and check it out if you haven't yet. Which I have the power to actually, no I don't. Yes I do. Sorry, I'm thinking if I can drop it in the chat, but it's because I view it on my iPad over here, but I actually have the mainstream thing up right now. So it might be loading for a second, but I just dropped the link in there for the Adobe Residency Fund in case anyone's interested in that. But you can probably find it just by searching that keyword. And to get to, and Angel's saying that's an amazing idea. Thank you. No, because I've used so many UI kits for Adobe Xd that like I would love to be able to actually go in and create one myself and kind of, because that's more of like the UI, the visual design side of it rather than the user experience. To pick the colors, one of the things I do is I go to Adobe Color, which, you know, I know people spell color differently a lot, but I'm going to go ahead and, just saw something right there. Never mind. So Adobe Color right here is a great tool you can use to where like you can extract themes from an image, or you can kind of go and mess with the color wheel and it'll tell you other colors that work with those based on the color theory. So this has been a huge resource for me, and I'm trying to remember how I came up with this initial color palette. I may have had a photo that I really liked the colors from and extracted them, or I may have had one main color and kind of found other colors that worked with it. But also what we can do is go into Explore and type in keywords like, we'll type in pirate, but a lot of times when you type this in, it's going to end up looking like a kid's menu or like those cliche pirate things. And the kid's saying Adobe Color is an awesome tool, and I totally agree because, you know, let's say for the pirate ones, for example, like it pulls the photos from Adobe stock that have those keywords. So it's really utilizing a lot of their different programs. So like this one, for example, is based off like this little pirate treasure, which isn't like the color palette we'd want, but it has something that kind of work. Then I can just go to download, or I can add to library, and it'll add, and it'll go like, and it'll just kind of happen magically and upload into my Adobe libraries, and it'll end up looking like this. So that was how I got this color palette initially. I don't remember exactly how I got it. I think I referenced a photo and kind of adapted them from there, but honestly I don't remember 100% off the top of my head. So yeah, so honestly I'm going to save this and I'll probably go back into this and finish up this map, but I really like the progress we made on it and I think it looks good. I would just want to, maybe if I can have like dashed lines and kind of maybe an X for the main stage and kind of bring in that pirate symbolism to it, I think would be like a dope element just to add over top of it. And maybe VIP, what if it's like a skull somehow, like a pirate skull, or I don't know. Just I want to keep it playful so it's not too serious and it's not too kid-like. I don't know. So it's a fine line to walk. And Angela's saying, oh wow, that's really a good tool. Thanks a lot. No problem. Yeah, definitely keep in mind Adobe Color is a huge resource, which I can go ahead and drop that link in here as well while I have a second. Because there really is no rush for me to get offline at the moment. But, you know, I probably will be in just a moment anyways. But no, if y'all do run into any questions or have anything at all, just please let me know. You know, I'm on Behance, you know, most days. I'm also, if you're tuning into Adobe Live and doing the Illustrator Daily Creative Challenges, I'll be one of the mentors on there for this next 2-week period. I know Andrew Hawkrattle's leading it, and he's like an incredible designer, and he's always super fun. And I know he's doing, he's kind of keeping a space theme this week. So I am excited for that. So you can also find me on, on that Discord channel as well, which I don't have the link right now. But if you watch the main Adobe Live channels, you'll find it. So yesterday we really focused on InDesign, and we kind of went over like the key features in here. So if you missed that, you can go back and watch that video on my page, and you kind of see how to set up a lot of really cool stuff in InDesign. But yeah, we did the first page. We did we started to get like the layout of some of these, which I know isn't like the greatest, but we got the base built, which is cool. Yeah, we can do Beyond the Fest, so it kind of explains some stuff. I also have a lot of these photos that I actually took myself when I was attending the festival. So soon, if I can figure out exactly how to do it before I do live stream, I may actually go into Photoshop and we can do it together and kind of we can build our own mock-ups, you know, from these photos. Because that's a dream, to where I can make it to where it looks like my banners are over top of these stages, and it's like my design elements are, you know, the ones used in these photos. That's my goal from attending the event, was just to be able to like make my own mock-ups in the long run. So yeah, we have commemorative poster, we have the text down here for the supporters, we have the schedule, like the base for that, we have the rough map, and over here would be like the key for it. I want to actually go into the Kids Fest and maybe have like a game, if there's like a scavenger hunt, and we can make pirate themed or something. I don't know, some more like very interactive stuff. We have the merch, we'll just show the stuff you can get, as well as the vendors, and recycling and stats. So we still have a couple more pages. So this could be something I continue next week. Because in the sponsors, which is just a list of logos, basically, and that's the back cover. So yeah, and then I would export it and save it and do all that fun stuff, which I'm going to go ahead and save it now. And yeah, Illustrator, we were talking about this. I showed you guys the schedule we kind of crafted. And then I showed you guys the actual file I was working on when creating like the logos. And you kind of see that how rough, you know, these files can actually look. But it's cool because, you know, eventually you end up with like these little like refined assets that are, you know, are super fun. But actually, to recap kind of where we started out to, let me bring this up very fast, and I swear I'm going to be getting offline in like 1 or 2 minutes. So if you go under like my actual page, you can find the actual branding I was, you know, influenced for this project. So you can see I have like the main title, I have the challenge and solution, so you can read that as well and find out the reason why I made those choices. This is some of this stuff laid out in a better way than you just saw in that Illustrator file. I got those waves, the symbolism where we combine multiple elements to make kind of something unique, to where it combines the music and the pirate stuff together. Typefaces and color palette. I wish I showed how I got that too, which I actually want to go back on there and put color codes and maybe like the Pantone values. Here's a mock-up of the adventure guide, the Welcome to the Festival booklet we're working on. But the goal with this is to actually go in and, you know, go into these photos that I took myself. You can see here's one that really, you know, that was from this past year, and it was really to help show the booklet. So my goal is to kind of make my own mock-ups where I can put my cover on top of that, you know, edit the wristband to look more like mine, the stage behind it. It's going to be a big challenge, but it'll be really fun to learn how to do that and then to be able to actually do it live. So that's my goal, because I took all these photos and it's, I don't know, perfect opportunity to try to do that. So to exit out of that, because some of the advice I got as well is to include people in this case study, so that way it feels more like a music festival rather than like just a bunch of mock-ups by themselves. But just to kind of show these really quickly, because I do have photos in here as well, that, and then I also have some other live stream videos where I was designing the interactive like mobile website. So feel free to check out all this stuff. My goal is once I build those mock-ups where I just showed you the people, or like underneath this, I want to embed in here the booklet we're designing, so that way it can flip through there. And Akin saying you used Adobe Dimension for mockups, and yes, I do. This has been reviewed in Office Hours stream, right? And yes, it actually was. Andrew Hockrattle and Nick Longo gave me some really great feedback, and so that was my goal, is to go back and refine a lot of the stuff that they suggested. So it was, and I am going to use maybe like Photoshop or Dimension to really make my own mockups in those. Which yeah, Dimension may be my better bet now that I think about it, because I use that anyways. And if you want to check that out, last week's stream I was able to use Dimension for like book sleeves, so I do know how to use that. You kind of see some videos going over that. And Gigi saying thank you and have a nice day. I really have fun. Well, no, I appreciate it. Thank you very much, and hopefully you guys tune in next week as well. I'll be on the same time. Maybe a different subject. Maybe we're going deeper into it. Who knows? But let me actually minimize this other stuff and transition this and just say, well, thank you everyone for tuning in. And I really appreciate all of you, especially the ones who stuck around. Gigi, Akin, Angela, Shauna, you know, Maria, all these people offering feedback and stuff. It really goes a long ways, and I appreciate all of you. So thank you very much. I'm going to go to this title screen, and then I'll probably just fade it out from there. So cool. Thank you, everyone.